Those pleas for change don't seem likely to be answered by Missouri lawmakers right now.
So after airing part one of this story earlier this week, we heard from a state representative who told us a red flag bill introduced in Jefferson City didn't get past Republican leadership and won't make it to a vote. Tonight, as our I-Team continues its investigation into a mother's call for change, senior I-Team reporter Jessica McMaster talks with Missouri lawmakers about the chances of passing gun safety measures here to address this mom's concerns.
Janet Delana says she wants state lawmakers to strengthen gun laws, but those who work in the state legislature say there aren't too many options.
I'm not your good girl cake baker anymore. I don't know, a few other things, and then she ended it with "Dad is dead."
That's the text message Janet Delana received from her daughter Colby Weathers on June 27th, 2012, just moments after Colby shot and killed her dad.
911, what's your emergency?
My name is Colby Weathers. I live at 711 131 Highway in Wellington, Missouri, and I shot my father. And I can't shoot myself. I was going to after I did it, but I couldn't bring myself to it.
Okay, you said you shot your father?
Yes, he's laying on the kitchen floor.
It's a day Janet tried to prevent. Her daughter Colby, in and out of mental health hospitals for years, was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. Janet remembers the first time her daughter brought home a gun just weeks earlier.
She said, "Dad, I bought this gun. Will you put it in the gun safe?"
The family got rid of the gun. Janet tried to make sure Colby couldn't buy another one.
I called the gun store, and I talked to him, and of course he was, we can't, if she comes in, we have to sell it to her.
I'm pretty sure he's dead.
What type of gun was it, ma'am?
I don't know. I bought it at a pawn shop today.
While Colby struggled with paranoia, which included hearing voices for years, law enforcement could not do anything to stop her from buying a gun without a court order. A court order that would have flagged her in the NICS database, preventing her from buying a gun. Remember, Colby passed a background check and bought the gun legally.
If the Missouri had the 3-day waiting period, she wouldn't have been able to pick it up till Saturday.
Delana wants state lawmakers to get ahead of the problem with waiting periods when buying a gun and a red flag law, where a judge can temporarily block someone's access to guns.
We have one of the most conservative legislatures in the country.
Wes Rogers spent 4 years in Jefferson City serving as a Democrat member of the House of Representatives. He's now retired, but fought for similar changes when it comes to gun laws, without success because of the Republican stronghold in the state.
Red flag laws, they're just not going to happen in Missouri. It's just not. There's no reason to talk about it. There's no path forward there.
Rogers and current House Representative Democrat Mike Sharp say they've tried for years to get movement on what they call common sense gun legislation, including ones to keep weapons out of the hands of those with serious mental health issues.
We've had these bills filed in the past. I mean, this isn't something that we just started doing, this past session. We've been filing bills to try to incorporate these red flag laws, and they just don't go anywhere.
Rogers and Sharp, both Democrats who come from two different backgrounds. Rogers, a former prosecutor, and Sharp, a teacher. Even their experiences that motivate them to a similar cause are different.
I've had to bury a best friend from random gun violence. I've had to bury a sister from domestic violence.
For Rogers, guns are oftentimes a way of life.
I grew up in rural Platte County, so I'm a gun owner. I've got a healthy appreciation and respect for firearms.
Still, they agree on gun laws, whether they address those with serious mental health issues or other safety concerns, are not, or at least they shouldn't be, an all or nothing proposition.
We can respect the Second Amendment, the Second Amendment, and also, have laws that keep us safe. This isn't an either-or thing. We can do both, and in a conservative state like Missouri, we have to.
They're not optimistic Missouri lawmakers will listen to Janet's pleas for change.
These are things that have to be made priorities the first month of session, not the last month of session.
Those options, though, do little for people like Janet, who experienced a gun-related tragedy at home.
The first thing I'd probably say to her is, I'm sorry for what's happened to you. I feel this enormous responsibility being in the legislature when we could have done something when we should have done something and we simply didn't.
We reached out to 40 Republicans in the state legislature. None of them would speak with us about this story. However, Governor Mike Parson spoke about red flag laws back in October after a shooting at a St. Louis high school.
You got a criminal that committed a criminal act, you know, and all the laws in the world are not going to stop those things when they occur, when somebody's a violent criminal and they go out there and commit a crime.
For the I-Team, I'm Jessica McMaster, KSHB 41 News.